Hey everyone, welcome to a new Lightboard video on the ITQ channel. In this video, I brought a very special guest. It's none other than EUC legend, friend, OG Ron Oglesby. Ron, welcome.
Thank you. It's good to be here. You guys are crazy here at ITQ. I love it.
Well, crazy is good, I guess.
Yeah.
So, Ron, in this video, we're going to talk about some of the cool stuff that Login VSI is doing with the different solutions. Let's start with Login in Enterprise, the primary solution, I guess.
Yeah.
There are different use cases, and in this video, we're going to talk about basically the Login Enterprise solution, but also some of the cool use cases we want to highlight.
You bet.
Awesome. So let's start.
Let's dive
into it.
So one of the interesting things about Login, it's been around for like 12 years. And everybody in EUC that's been around for a while knows they do performance testing.
Yeah.
Right? You read a white paper from like a Citrix or a Microsoft, or, we did this, we got this many users, and you'll see Login VSI charts, or you'll see, we used a Login VSI knowledge worker. And in the old days with the hardware, everything was physical, it was changing constantly. CPUs back then were going crazy, now we're like GPUs are going now. It was really a great way for hardware vendors, let's say, to compare each other, for you to compare two pieces of hardware you were going to buy. What people didn't realize is because of the automation that made that possible is we could do a whole bunch of other stuff. And so now we're actually trying to do that other stuff, and that's what brought me to Login VSI. It really wasn't performance testing itself. It was, well, what else can we do with it, and start making new products.
Awesome. Then, here are 3 markers.
All right.
Let's jump into the architecture first, I guess.
Yeah. So Login Enterprise itself is pretty easy. Starts with a virtual appliance, our Login Enterprise virtual appliance. It has our web interface, our web console, contains the databases that we're going to collect the information from. And what it does is it actually drives or runs a series of small launchers. Windows machines, IGIL thin clients, whatever, it's launchers. These launchers are what go out and connect multiple sessions to target environments. Let's say Horizon. You're testing a Horizon pool. You're trying to get scalability. You're trying to get performance back for the end user. It also could be, AVD. It could be a straight up RDP host, a terminal server RDH session, right?
WinFrame.
Oh my God, please no. Windows MT. But the idea being all of this is driven, and if we take our knowledge worker workload, all of this is driven by what is essentially application scripts. And we do it a little different in that, previously when you would try to automate an app, we all know about the hotkeys, especially in certain Windows apps, or XY coordinates, trying to find a button to click. We actually build our scripts. We have a tool set that allows a customer to build custom ones, but we build our scripts to drive the app using the Windows controls within the app, which is a very accurate way to do it. It's a more efficient way to do it, because if the window moved a couple of pixels or something, XY coordinates don't work, etc. And this is our traditional model. You go out there, you generate load. It tells you, here's your VSI max, right? Your virtual session index. How many users can I get on whatever the target system? And now we've added an EUX score, right? Which we try to score within the session. Everybody has some type of EUX score these days. It doesn't really make sense to compare them apples to apples, because what they might think is a 6.5, we might think is a 5.5. So when you're doing a comparison, it should always be within the same tool.
A little bit of difference between the metric system and imperial system.
And the imperial system, that's right.
Right, as long as your own score is always consistent compared to the different platforms you run it on, it's good.
Yeah, so the tool you have here, whatever it is, whether it's us or anything else, whatever you're driving it with and finding these scores with, as long as you use the same one here, you could change your environments, physical to virtual, existing on-prem to AVD, different AVD machine types, whatever. What you want to maintain is the same scoring system and the exact same workloads. And that's why we do it this way with application scripts and these synthetic workloads, is because a lot of people would like tests with humans. Humans pause, they look up, something got on their glasses, and that changes the behavior and the utilization in the machine. What this allows you to do is make the exact same workload, the exact same apps every time, and allows you to score, I don't know, AVD versus a local on-prem environment, or Horizon versus Horizon in the cloud, right? A purely cloud solution. And you're comparing apples to apples every time. And that's why the number becomes valuable. It's just that it allows you to compare the exact same thing and not have any human interaction that's going to change your workload at all.
Right, makes sense.
Yeah. Now, we were talking earlier about, okay, what's new, right? We were having that whole conversation. And it's these app scripts, and this is a thing I didn't really understand even before I came to Login VSI or before I was doing my due diligence. Everyone knows our knowledge worker. You download it, it would have scripts to launch Excel and Edge and all that stuff. But all those scripts that we built, there was always the ability for customers to build their own. Just most didn't. Some of it because it was a little hard to do, right? So we've made some tools to make it easier. But what this does now is we allow you to create custom app scripts. So it's not just Office and Edge, right? It could be ArcGIS. It could be a healthcare EMR app, right? It could be SAP or any app that you use that's business critical and creates load. You can make an app script that'll open it. We'll do some type of operation in it. You can track it. And then once you have the script running, you can run it on 50 workstations, 100. You can target a single laptop. You can do whatever you want, but you can customize it for your use. Now, this is what's bringing us to new use cases. The most important one, I think, is gold image validation. Let's say I have my app scripts. I've got my default ones. Let's just say we've got some Office scripts here. Once my Office scripts are in and I'm testing, maybe I also, maybe I use Hyperspace. Hyperspace is a app out of the US that's used for healthcare. It's one of the biggest ones. Maybe I also use a image management system of some type, and I have a document management system. As the end user, I can create scripts to run all these, and I can assemble them in a way, not within the script itself, but within our interface. I can say, hey, I wanted to launch a couple of Office components. I wanted to launch Outlook. I then wanted to launch Hyperspace. Wait 10 seconds, launch Hyperspace, and we'll monitor, does it launch? Yep. How long does it take to launch? Let's say this one was, 7.1 seconds. Does this one launch? Yep. How long did it take to launch? 4.2 seconds, whatever. And what this allows you to do is the same scripts that I'd use to generate load, I can now use them with a single user. I can go to I just patched my view image, right? Okay, it's time for the Windows update. The new Windows build is out. I'm going to update it. And we've all had that instance where the EUC team is updating the image or the security team is updating antivirus. And Monday morning, the app owner, for some reason on Sunday night, did not check the apps. You get the help desk calls.
And then the problem is always VDI, right?
It's always VDI. VDI is bad. Horizon's bad. VMware's bad. All that, right? That's all. But what they're not realizing is that the reason the image management system didn't launch was because their antivirus update might have put some executable that it has on a blacklist, or it was dependent on a Microsoft component that has been changed significantly in a new build. So all they know is Monday morning, 1,000, 2,000 users are logging in trying to launch these things, and that app no longer works. Well, if I've already got a script and the ability to tell me, did it work and how long did it take, I can just patch that image. There's my big fat gold image there. Patch my image, do my OS update, do my app update, whatever. Go to the login system and say, spin one VM up with that and say, take this workload, run one user against it, and it'll actually spit out a report that says, this app worked, this app worked, this app worked, okay, this one did not. Or it'll say, this used to work at 4.2 seconds. It still launched. It's now taking 9.7 seconds. So the key problem in all these VDI environments, and you've been around it a long time, I've been around it a long time, is if you tell that story about an app owner not testing an app, in every customer, every environment you go to, there's some admin nodding his head because he's had that on a Monday morning. In this case, he needs that app owner one time. Come in here, show me how to use this app so we know it works. I'll build this little test workload. And from now on, that admin doesn't even have to call. Part of his change process will be update that image, run this test. It might take 3 or 4 minutes. It does it all automatically and spits out a report that says whether it's good or not. And right now we're calling this image validation or gold image validation.
Right. And it doesn't really matter where the image lives, right? Could be cloud, could be on-prem.
Could be cloud, could be on-prem. All we require is that the appliance, and it's talking to these launchers, is that these launchers have visibility to connect to a machine that has that gold image that you just patched.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy, right? And to me, let's say you've got a big environment that has a real robust change control system. And we've all seen it. They've got all the processes. They've got all the forms and checkboxes, or maybe they've automated it. How many times have the app owners checked that the app is good, right? What we want to do is take the human factor out of it. Just like in load testing, in this type of change, we want to take the human factor out of it and be able to quantify what worked, what didn't, was performance impacted or not, right? We're basically a performance data company. Give that information back to them.
Right. And you want to do that cross-check that, right? So in some cases, or in most cases where you regularly update the base image or rebuild it, if you will, maybe every week you want to cross-check the applications to that base image, but also vice versa. If you didn't change the base image, but you changed an application package, it's the same thing. And the outcome, like the reports and the statistics that you could create, all visualize that, right?
Yes, yeah. And what they'll do is they'll do a couple of things, and you can configure it, right? You can say, I don't care about timing. Well, okay. Or I just want to see if it runs, and if it doesn't, we have the ability in our workloads take a snapshot of the screen and show the error or show what was going on when that happened. And those just come out as PDF reports. They're good for management because you can go, yes, I did QA this app, right? Yeah. It did work. And for me, it's a broad problem that we've all had. We've just had no good way to validate images without involving every team that owned an application.
Wow. I think this is really, really, really awesome.
Yeah, it's good stuff. It's good stuff. Now, it leads us to other things, right? We can also use this to do what we call continuous testing now, which is using these same launchers, using the same appliance and these same workloads. Maybe I'm not trying to drive load. Maybe all I'm trying to do is validate. Think about a view environment, right? You've got gateways, right? You've got the cloud connectors, you've got all your pools, you got all this stuff going on. There's a lot of components in it involved. And then the ancillary components that aren't VMwares, domain controllers, DNS, et cetera. Since we're simulating a user, everything in that path is tested, meaning the user comes in, they have to log in. That means to log in, they went through a gateway. That means that they authenticated, profiles load, GPOs load. Eventually, they get to a usable Explorer environment. Then they launch an app. It loads, this app loads, whatever. Well, if I take that test and I just want one user, go out every half hour and make sure my environment's running. Or maybe I take a launcher and I drop it in a remote location and I say, run it from there so I know that environment's running. The automation engine that built all the load testing can do all this other things. We just hadn't put it out there yet.
Wow. This is really awesome. If customers would like to benefit from this, how can they get their hands on it?
They can download it. They can play with it, right? The way we like to do it is we like to get a demo. They can go on our website. We've got stuff online like everybody else, but they can request a demo. We'll give them a demo, and it's Login Enterprise. It's a big product. It's API driven. We'll actually help them set it up.
Nice.
It's, especially in environments where they've got security concerns, maybe they got multi-factor authentication, things that aren't easy. There's, the directions will walk you through the easy stuff. But we find that if we help them set it up, they're going to be successful in making these types of things work. We'll even help them with the scripts. We get them started on scripting that, and they can download it. We'll give them a free trial and let them beat on it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, Ron, thanks so much for explaining this to us. If you have any questions about Login VSI, Login Enterprise, feel free to reach out. You can find more contact details in the show notes of this video. For now, thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.